Globalization is a challenge we need to seize. I think all of you know that Liechtenstein is a very small state. Liechtenstein has always enjoyed economic and cultural ties with neighboring regions and as well the rest of the world. Globalization is therefore not really a new challenge for my country. It has rather always been part of our day-to-day economic life. And yet, globalization is a challenge that Liechtenstein has to seize anew, especially in times of change. Dear professors, dear students, dear guests, it is a great pleasure for me to be here today and to speak a bit about Liechtenstein, about our economy, about our financial place. I recall very well when I was sitting in the rows as a student, like you are sitting here today, and it seems to me, now standing here, it seems to be that it has only been 2 or 3 years ago, but that is unfortunately not true. I studied law in Switzerland, and I did my bar exam a bit later then, and my doctorate degree a bit later on then, and then I started to work as a lawyer in a small company in Zurich, in Switzerland. And I moved a bit around the world during that time as well. And then I started my own small company. And shortly after I started my own company, I did consulting. My party came to ask me if I wanted to run an election campaign. For me, as a young person, it was, of course, a very, very high challenge. I took over office after a long election campaign in March last year. I have 3 ministries. I have cultural affairs, justice, and as well foreign affairs. So I'm enjoying my job a lot. It's a high challenge. It's very interesting. And I do think that for Liechtenstein, having countries like the States and having good contacts in the States for us is very, very important. The words about globalizations and its challenges that I quoted at the beginning are from you, Mr. Professor. You spoke them nearly 5 years ago at an event at the Ludwig Erhard Foundation in Nuremberg in Germany. Your words continue to hold true. How is Liechtenstein seizing the challenge of globalization specifically? We are a small state, 36,000 inhabitants, even still economically and politically viable in the age of globalization. How can we be viewable or viewed in an age where the world is coming closer and closer together, and how can we stand within Europe as we are a small state? In my following remarks, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to give you some answers to these questions, which are of existential importance to us. After my comments, of course, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. The current and future success of Liechtenstein as a business location and the center of knowledge depends on 3 essential factors. It is political stability, it is membership in international organizations, and it is innovation. I start with the political stability, the first one. In over 60 years, we have been fortunate not to have had a war in Western Europe. During extended times of peace, people often forgot how important and how fundamental political stability is for the prosperity of a national economy and thus for the welfare of our population. One expression of Liechtenstein's political stability is our system of state. Liechtenstein, we are a hereditary monarchy on a democratic and parliamentary basis. The current acting head of state is His Serene Highness Prince Alois from und zu Liechtenstein. Not long ago, he took over affairs for the state from his father. The princely house is one of the oldest nobles families in Europe. Since 1938, the family is living in Liechtenstein. Their castle is a bit on the hill, and they are looking directly down to the office, or where all our ministers have the office. So I always think it's quite a nice picture. They are overviewing our small country from there. Why am I mentioning the princely house? The princely house is an important factor, and I think looking from abroad to Liechtenstein, a factor that is sometimes underestimated. We have in Liechtenstein two political parties. We have the progressive citizen parties. At home we call it the Black Party. That is the party I belong to. And then we have the Patriotic Union, the Red Party. And we are in a big coalition in our government. And black and red is not the understanding of right or left or something. Both of our parties are more central right. So there is no, we have the green ones as well, but there is no real left wing represented in our parliament. It is represented in our parliament, but not in the government. These two big parties are not alternating, but we change from one election to the other. It always changes a bit which party is on the lead. And from most of the times, looking back the last, not 100 years, but the last decades, it was most of the time a big coalition in our country. The princely house has, during the last decades, served as a stabilizing factor that helped to bridge the differences between our parties. This guarantee of political stability is important for the competitiveness of Liechtenstein as a business location. I come to the second point, the membership in international organizations. As a small state, Liechtenstein has always considered itself embedded in a region and, beyond that, in a continent. A small state, like we are, is therefore only as stable as the surroundings. For this reason, my country is a member of the European Economic Area, the EEA, and the European Free Trade Association, the EFTA. As Liechtenstein is an EEA member, our entrepreneurs and service providers have full access to the single market of the European Union.